You're still watching DBN this morning, and we'll have Fred join us, and we're evaluating the Nollywood industry, and of course, with regards to how to grow this particular sector and affect our economy. Let's talk about the creatives. In a movie, you have a value chain of 5, 6, 7 major people, from director, from producer, mention it. How does it work? Do we have an industry that people want to partner, or do you have an industry where people want to own the entire chain of production?
That's the Nigerian factor here again. There's problem in partnership in Nigeria. People find it difficult to get closer, and few partnerships. You want to be the producer, the director, the writer of the movie, and even the marketer himself. So that's the Nigerian factor. But I think that if we begin to partner, for instance, those guys that got the largesse from President Jonathan, you were not told to make a movie, yes, they are giving you a dash. But then if you're a filmmaker and you know that the problem of a filmmaker is to get funding, and then you found some fund, I was thinking that one or two of them who make films can say, okay, let's put this money together and make one particular film and see where it takes us. But there's no trust. So until we begin to have trust and we begin to understand that 2 is better than 1, then Nollywood may still be where it is. Because even the one you're comparing with Hollywood you're talking, if you see how they organize themselves to make films, 2 big moguls can come together and make a film, and they prepare for it and continue to sell it, So, but you haven't done it here, and nobody's. I think it's lack of an understanding, and if we begin to understand properly, Nigeria will go better.
Yeah, let me take you on this. You talked about one person multitasking, the producer, the writer, the director of a particular film or script, probably the script writer as well. When someone possesses this
Quality.
Round quality, I would call it, and he exhibits it on his project, is there anything wrong? Do you think there's going to be some kind of error or some kind of spaces, lapses, because it's just born of one person?
Sometimes it doesn't stop a guy to be multi-talented. You can be multi-talented and go ahead. But we're looking at the way we live our lives. For instance, comparing you with other people, other countries that we are measuring with, you notice that a guy shoots one scene for about a month because he has the wherewithal to do all this. Now he has to pay the scriptwriter, pay the producer, pay every other person to come and work. But here he doesn't have that money. Does he have to now begin to pay somebody? So he makes use of what I think it's all about the way we live. It's the way we live, but it's usually better to bring 2 heads together.
Another one, making a movie, we've seen a situation where continuity is a bit lacking. Someone is putting on earring in a particular scene, and the scene continues afterwards, and you see that maybe it's one earring or the earring is not there, so the story is not complete. Has this, to a large extent, played a role to the less worth of what Nigerian Nollywood movie that we see today, has to give? Has it played down on it somehow?
It's part of the problems. You haven't seen a man who they give you 20 years later, and there are no wrinkles, nothing. It's
exactly
the same young man you saw. 20 years is a long time. So these are the small things that you notice that has caused problem for Nollywood. Nollywood started gradually. Okay, let us even have a trace a little so that we can understand where the problems are coming from. When the first film that started it all, even though people have been doing other films before, Living in Bondage,
yes.
Kenneth Nnebwe organized some people and got it done. Then went to open a shop for himself and started selling. He was selling electronics in Idumota. Then other people now joined to make their own films. Now they were looking for those directors who were either working for NTA before, were the only opportunity for them to show films. Now they will give these guys money to produce for them. Some of these people may finish production and some artists are yet to be paid. Now they now took this thing to themselves, to their hands. We can't continue like this now. When we have paid for this production, you are a professional, you are still owing people. The marketer now became a producer himself, and gradually he will now get a director he can pay, and now begins to pay the directors. Now he's also a director himself. So gradually they took charge of what is there. Now how can somebody take charge of what he does not really understand? So that is why you can find such continuity problems. You can even be hearing the sound of a generator somewhere. There's one man, I say, bring your film. Let's take it outside and go to an international festival. He says, no, those things, we didn't do it. You cannot stand outside. So they know what is going on. That's why I also said that some people can be doing those commercial, low-level value films, but other people are also carving their own niche and doing it better. So you now choose where you want to belong, to still do that lackluster thing or to move ahead. That is what is happening. So
where do we now see the institutions coming now? You have tertiary institutions that take care of, you have theatre arts department in some of them, University of Nigeria for a case study. That's where people get these fundamentals before they get into the industry. What are the gaps there? Do you think the institutions are doing well?
Yeah, because when it comes to film now, it's a different thing. Theatre, all those people who pass through the universities just were acting. The next thing to do now is management. The next one is to direct. The next one is maybe stagecraft. But when it now comes to these machines, it's a different thing. Machines are not in those universities. You have to project on stage and shout, and we have to hear you. But here is a different thing. You have a microphone and you're talking cool. So there has to be a synergy between the theater and film production itself. But we have Nigerian Film Corporation. What is it doing? No films have been done in Nigerian Film Corporation. And then during Jonathan's period, there's this controversy that a man who is not a filmmaker was appointed as the managing director. It became a problem. And since he was appointed, I don't even know his name anyway. Nobody has heard much from the Nigerian Film Corporation since then.
Yes, let me take you here again to, I think it's one of the ills in the industry generally. And another one I found out is the fact that people lobby to get cast. Yeah, why is it so? Why must I lobby? I have understanding of what my script talks about, what the movie, what it is, and I have pictured the kind of artist that I want to play this role. Now, someone, because the person is big or not, is a known or renowned person thereabout, then, or this person is coming up and has gotten to a level, lobbies for a particular scene or a particular character. Why is it so in Nollywood?
Nigerian factor. Same Nigerian factor that makes you tell me, okay, let's be here by 7 and I'm here by 10. The same problems that even if you don't have that problem, some other thing is bringing another problem to link it up, and the vicious circle continues to hold all of us. Now somebody brings money. He pays the piper. He dictates the tune. Okay, what do? I want somebody to play that role. You suggest for the person to play the role. You didn't talk about the sexual harassment issues.
Yeah, we're going to that.
No, because I'm not a filmmaker, but I'm just observing them too. But
well, you and I are aware of it.
We know it happens. But then anybody who falls for a guy has fallen for him and nothing more. But that problem you're talking about is a Nigerian factor. People, you cannot do it. There is so much subjectivity in the matter rather than objectivity. I know you're going to play the role, but I close my eyes because this person is my brother, is my sister, is my friend, is a relation. So, but there are some things they can play. You can't get a role and play it right if you didn't know how to play at all. There are roles that they can't give you. Maybe a wakapa scene can put you there to just do. But if it's a serious thing, you have to audition for it. If it's serious, you have to audition. And if you audition and you get it, everybody will clap. If you don't get it, people will boo you. That's what happens. So Nigerian factor is also taking roots and affecting all the things we do here.
All right, let's move into the part of the new administration. You have a president that have this public image when it comes to being an anti-corruption proponent. How do you see his personality rubbing off?
Even with his military background.
Yes. Going down the bottom, the value chain and the bottom of the pyramid at the end of the day.
Is hope. We hope for the best. He was a military man, no longer a military man. He's a disciplined man, still a disciplined man. Government just started, so we want to see. But hopefully, we want a situation, especially when it affects this our Nollywood thing. If you're giving money, if you're giving support, if you're giving grants, find out what are they doing with this, and then appoint the square pegs into the square holes, so that you at least get a semblance of what you want to achieve, rather than just making different kinds of appointments. But generally, I expect something new. I expect is hope now until we begin to see it. The same man hasn't appointed the key people. We are watching to see. So anybody who makes judgments now will be wrong. But basically, based on his antecedents, I'm hoping for the better, because Nigeria has been in the doldrums for too long.
And if you have an opportunity to make a recommendation, what are the areas, of course, that you like to leave your thoughts that, okay, this is where we're missing it, these are the areas where
especially in our subject matter here now.
Exactly.
In our subject matter.
I want a situation where there will be more training. I want a situation where there will be laws to set up some things. I don't know whether in the House of Representatives and the Senate, whether people are talking about Nollywood there. I want a situation where they take it more serious, so that if it is a way of projecting Nigeria's image, then Nigeria must be very, very interested in it to make it right. For instance, this Nigerian Film Festival in Germany we're talking about, it held last year. But the ambassador there at that time never even heard about it. Nigerians were coming, everybody was coming from all over the world to come and see Nollywood films in Germany, organized by some individuals, and the ambassador didn't even see. But recently now, the upcoming one has been endorsed by the consulate, the new consulate in Frankfurt now. So it's a sign that maybe if round pegs are in round holes, people will will key into it and make it better.
Leslie, would you say the problem is actually the direct Nollywood leaders or appointees that could have caused that?
All of them.
Okay.
I keep using this my word, Nigerian factor. Nollywood leader who may not have known what he should do to better the entire industry but himself, and then the government person who doesn't even understand what the matter is. So when they all combine, you see nyama nyama plenty, you see. So, but we want a situation where let the real people run the real things, and then we might.
We'll draw the curtain on this conversation with the part of parental guidance when it comes to the content we watch. Now, Nigerians are trying to maybe diversify the way they do their things and meet some global practices, if you may call that, in terms of the nudity in some of the movies now. Let's look at the content and how the parents can control what young people watch. Because some of these movies, you see them on TV sometimes, you're like, these are supposed to be showing at this time.
If it's shown on TV, then it's the lapse of that television house. But then are the parents also guiding well? Those days when I remember Mrs. Ode stamped her feet on nudity and all those things when she was the Census Board Director General. But the same Nigerian filmmakers will shout that you want to kill our story. Let us express ourselves. After all, in America. Okay, are you in America? You are not in America. Even America has a very strong censorship. But again, a father who couldn't stop her daughter from wearing a sag, and even goes to the market to buy some of those fashionable things. Is it the fame that he could control? But we also know that there are parents who don't want to see nonsense. They know they want to control how their children grow. And when they do that, but you know as well, they go to school, there is a limit to what you can do to all these things. So societal matters, and then if it's society, you try your best and leave the rest.
It's been an awesome time with you on this particular subject matter, Nollywood industry, but I haven't heard from you that you're not scared that the industry is going to thrive, because you call it child of necessity.
It
Child of
continues
To grow.
Yeah, change.
Yes.
It continues to change.
Yeah, and of course, with the number of movies or films churned out on weekly basis, do you see a point where there'll be a slope at a point where we climax and we just drop?
I don't see it like that. I see it like the water finding its level. If you, those ones are done every day. Where do you watch them now? Those days, few marketers were in Idumota to sell them. They started it in the moment. In 1 week, we rose from having 30 films to 50 films every week. In a moment, we couldn't control it, and again, the young boys who were boys to their guys had grown, gotten their own shops, they were starting making films. Before you knew it, 100 films every day. The marketers themselves tried to check it. They couldn't. They said, okay, let's be doing it 1-1. Let somebody come out today. The other one comes to go like it's done outside. Some other person says no. Do you stand on the queue to make money? Eventually, nature has played on it. Films that are made now, it's only God that will make you see them. If you watch African Magic, everybody now is going to African Magic to watch them. Which one have you bought now? So, water is finding its level. That's why some people will go do quality ones and take it to the box office so that they could sell. It's a distribution problem. So if you are making film and you're not selling up to 10,000, I don't think you're making a film. You're not in business.
So you want to convince me that it was actually the Nollywood practitioners or the filmmakers that actually saturated the market, that invited the piracy that they suffer at the moment?
No, piracy has always been there. Piracy is even senior to Nollywood. It's not just that. Any person who does anything in units, if you produce anything in mass, there is a likelihood of somebody pirating it or bootlegging it. You go outside, there are products that you have seen. People will just go collect the bottles and blend it.
Exactly.
Bootleg it has always been happening. But if you say the filmmakers, no, I would rather say the distributors, the marketers who started it here. It wasn't the distributors that started it there. It was the makers that started it. The distributors are different. But here, like I will always tell you, that things we do in Nigeria, we start it at the end point rather than starting from the beginning. For instance, a man tells you that Nigeria, don't you know that everything is internet now? Everything is e-money, don't carry money. But you go to an ATM that's not working. You go to an ATM that NEPA has struck and there's no light. So different kinds of things cause the problem. They cause their problem, they have to swim out of it. It's because of it that some producers, some actors started becoming producers so that they can make a difference out of it. These people in the market cannot bring their film to Silverbird Gallery. They can't take it to Zone. They can't take the films to Film House or anywhere to go and show. They will still sell in that small market. So it's a long journey for Nollywood that I hope is going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Iwenjora. Did I get it now?
You tried.
Iwenjora.
I need to actually, maybe I come, you school me in that particular part. I need to pronounce it very well.
You're not my wife. You're my wife, maybe by too much of,
Okay,
you'll be able to get it.
Anyway, that's it on we just had an insightful moment on Nollywood, of course, and we have some, I let me echo that word again. He's a journalist with bias for entertainment. I like putting it that way.
Special office.
Yes, as you join us again on DBN this morning.